It's such an easy concept, people, if we can only get back to understanding that this is simply God's instructions for a righteous, blessed life. And if everybody collectively follows this, the world will be a reflection of that righteousness and that beauty. But when we don't, just take a look out there. That is what it looks like when we don't. And so that key verse, the fear of Yahweh, He is the beginning of wisdom, the knowledge of the Holy One. If there's ever a verse to keep engraved in your mind, it's that one right there. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of Proving Proverbs, where we read the text, absorb the knowledge, display the wisdom, reap the blessings. This week we are digging into chapter 9. Now chapter 9 is a very short chapter, so this won't take long, but it's a very powerful chapter, and it continues the theme of the importance of wisdom and the role that it plays in this creation and in God's message to mankind. And so, although it's a short chapter this week, there's a lot here that we can take from it. And so, as always, I encourage you to hold fast to these words, these good, pure words, and to anchor yourself in them and to allow them to be your guidepost as you carry out this week's walk. After all, that is the call to action here, as we make every attempt to implement these things into our lives so that we can prove Proverbs. And we can show the world that this book still holds true today, and that this is ancient wisdom that has withstood the tests of time. And although the obstacles may look different, the way that we overcome them has not changed. That stays the same. And so let's get into chapter 9 here. Wisdom as hostess. Wisdom has built herself a house. She has erected her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her beasts, prepared her wine. She has laid her table. She has dispatched her maidservants and proclaimed from the city's heights, "Who is ignorant? Let him step this way." To the fool she says, "Come and eat my bread. Drink the wine I have prepared. Leave your folly and you will live. Walk in the ways of perception. Correct a mocker and you make an enemy. Rebuke a wicked man, you get insult in return. Do not rebuke the mocker. He will only hate you. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love you for it. Be open with the wise. He grows wiser still. Teach a virtuous man. He will learn yet more. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. The knowledge of the Holy One, perception indeed. For days are multiplied by me, and years of life increased. Are you wise? It is to your advantage. A mocker, the burden is yours alone. Dame Folly acts on impulse, is childish and knows nothing. She sits at the door of her house, on a throne commanding the city, inviting the passers-by as they pass on their lawful occasions. Who is ignorant? Let him step this way. To the fool she says, stolen waters are sweet, and bread tastes better when eaten in secret. The fellow does not realize that here the shades are gathered, that her guests are heading for the valley of Sheol. And so the common theme carries through this next chapter, the theme of wisdom and how it is offered up freely to all who will partake of it. Why so many choose to turn their head to it and to walk the other way, I will never know. But that's a foolish thing, clearly, to do. But yet so many choose it. And so we see a clear display here of wisdom and what that has to offer versus folly and what that has to offer. Because they are contrary to each other. They are the opposites of each other. And so to not be walking in wisdom is to be walking in this folly. And it's clear. Wisdom leads to longer life, leads to better life. Folly leads to death. It leads to Sheol. The most powerful verse in this chapter, though, that I want to make sure I repeat is this. The fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. The knowledge of the Holy One is perception indeed. Can you see in the world where we have lost the fear of God? It's clear to me. I look out and I see where we have completely turned from fearing God. We no longer feel Yahweh. And that's a big mistake. And I know that's trouble for some people, you know. It's in our human nature to think of God and living a godly life, to try and you know, to be in pursuit of a life of righteousness. To most of the world out there today, that's foolishness. Because they look at God, they look at Yahweh, Yehovah, Yahuwah, however you want to call it. The Most High God, the creator of all things. They look at him as if he is a dictator. And all that he seeks to do is to control their life and to rob them of all the fun that life has to offer. And he wants to be, you know, strict and demand discipline, you know, and in all of their ways, you know, rob them of all of their fun and all the things that this life has to offer. And I know that feeling. I know it well because I used to think that. But that's not what this is about. Not at all. God isn't sitting on his throne ready to throw thunderbolts at everybody who makes a mistake. If we could only understand how simple this is. If we can just wrap our mind around the concept that Yahweh created all things. This realm that we are in, this physical realm that we are walking through, It is his design. It is his creation. And in that very design, he has built everything already into it. It's already there. And then he has given us these words as a lamp and as a compass so that we can find our way through this realm that he has created. And he tells us exactly, here is my instruction book. It's just like a manual for a new device. You get this new device, and with it comes an operating manual. And it's in that manual where you read and find out how this thing works, right? Well, this is no different. This is God's operation manual for this world. And he's simply saying, I'm the one who made that thing. I created it. I designed it. And so here's how it works. If you do these things and you do this maintenance on time and you take care of these things, as I state in this manual, there will be a long life. It will be good. If you don't do these things per this operations manual, things are going to begin to fall apart. Things aren't going to work very well. So God's not up there throwing lightning bolts every time we step out of bounds. No. It's simply built into the design. When we go against this operating manual, naturally, we are stepping in to things going wrong. It's that simple. We have this all wrong, the way that we view this thing. And it's a shame because I think it's such a simple concept. But yet false teachers and false religion and just all of it has robbed the truth of its simplicity. And now because of that, you have a world that has turned away and no longer fears Yahweh. And then this is the repercussions of this. This is what it looks like when we don't follow the operating manual. And when we don't do it on a mass scale like this, well, then the whole world starts to fall apart. And that's what we're seeing here now, folks. Look around. And so just understand that God's not some dictator standing up there on his, sitting on his throne up there in the clouds, ready to throw lightning bolts every time you step out of line. No, instead, he said, listen, I designed everything that you see, and I have put you into my creation. I have given you an opportunity to be a part of it and to experience this design. And all of my wisdom is in the design. And I am offering that wisdom to you if you will only receive it. And so, here's my design. Here is my realm. I place you in it, and I give you an operation manual. If you follow the manual and you do the things that I say will lead to blessings, your life will be blessed. But if you don't, and you go outside of the operating manual and try to do things your own way or the world's way or whatever, you are naturally stepping in to curses. That's the decision you make. Those aren't lightning bolts that God's throwing at you. Those are lightning bolts of your own making. It's such an easy concept, people, if we can only get back to understanding that this is simply God's instructions for a righteous, blessed life. And if everybody collectively follows this, the world will be a reflection of that righteousness and that beauty. But when we don't, just take a look out there. That is what it looks like when we don't. And so that key verse, the fear of Yahweh, He is the beginning of wisdom, the knowledge of the Holy One. If there's ever a verse to keep engraved in your mind, it's that one right there. We got to get back to these simple things, folks. We got to take back this world from the evil that we've allowed to take it from us. Hopefully, this little series of Proving Proverbs is making even just a little impact on that. That's my prayer, that's my hope. So as you go through this week, try to reflect on these words and remember that this book was given to you as an instruction manual. It's very simple if we just listen to what it says. Anyway, that's it for chapter 9. As always, please, if this video has touched you, please like it. If you feel that anybody in your circles may benefit from hearing it, please feel free to share it. And as always, I would love to hear your comments. I will always do my best to reply to all of them. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. Until next week, Proving Proverbs, I am Brad Casper. We're out.